Facebook. Instagram is on. And Google is going live. Fantastic. So everyone is going great. Did everyone have, what's everyone doing for 4th of July? Well, I guess everyone's getting on here first. Maybe I won't ask that yet. Let everyone get on here and get joined in, because I think the notifications are just now going out. So that's good. Okay. So let's see here. I'm going to try to zoom up here on Transfiguring Adoption. So hi, everyone. I'm Darren, and this is Margie, and we are with a nonprofit called Transfiguring Adoption. Transfiguring Adoption exists to nurture, foster, and adoptive children by giving a hoot about their caregivers. And if you are watching us right now, you have either found, been told, or something about our Monday Caregiver Check-In. And this is the time for us just to check in with each other, to see how everyone's doing, to ask questions, bring advice, give suggestions about how we can go on this adoptive and foster care journey together. So we are asking you guys, while we are doing this live, we are always on YouTube and Facebook Live every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, I had to figure out where I was at. So I just stumbled because I had to figure out where I was at. That's funny. So yeah, we're here every Monday.
You literally got into town at 5 o'clock this morning.
I did get into town at 5 o'clock this morning. So hey, everyone. So yeah, this is time whenever you want to give your advice or suggestions to someone else. Ask questions. Don't think that someone else doesn't have that question, or everyone know. Like maybe you're sitting there thinking everyone knows this. Everyone knows this advice. Everyone knows this about foster care. Everyone knows this about adoption. Don't think that, because there are a lot of people that haven't. Hey, Diana. Yeah, don't think that. So please give your advice or questions or whatnot. We are a nonprofit program. We exist under a 501c3, and we are not doing this to replace any medical advice, legal advice, to replace anything that your caseworkers and an agency might be telling you already, or therapists or anything else. We're doing this purely to encourage and support one another so that we can keep going and take better care of kiddos. All that to say, please don't sue us. Please, please don't sue us. All right. So everyone is starting to get in here and pull in here a little bit. Again, we are on YouTube Live and on Facebook Live. So if you ever
and Instagram today.
And Instagram today.
Home, so.
Yeah, we happen to be home, so we're on Instagram also. But we're always on YouTube and Facebook. If you have any suggestions, actually, everyone just give a hi or give a thumbs up. That would be awesome. Just to let us know that you're breathing out there. That'd be fun. And I mean that if you're watching live or not live, because we actually have a lot of people after that watch too. Can everyone tell me, what are you planning to do for the 4th of July weekend? Hey, Brian, what are you planning on doing for 4th of July? For those of us that are watching from America, what are you planning? Or maybe there are like people that are here vacationing and you just happen to be in the States. What are you planning on doing for the 4th of July weekend? What is going on for 4th of July?
4th of July isn't really a weekend this year. It's Wednesday.
Oh, it isn't. It's a Wednesday. It is. Okay, so what are you planning on doing for, well, what are we planning on doing for, okay, so we have just moved to a new state, the awesome state of Florida.
Sunshiny.
Sunshiny. So I think the problem that we have this year is not as narrowing it down. I mean, I think I know what we're going to do, but in all honesty, if we really wanted to take a look at it, we have too many options.
Christina's going to stay home and cook out. That sounds lovely.
Cooking out sounds fantastic, actually. Very good.
I don't think we're going to go far from home. We've been told that our area of Orlando has absolutely like the best fireworks and stuff, and a great 4th of July celebration. So Diana's going to swim and barbecue. It's fun.
That is a lot of fun. I miss it.
We might do some of that too.
So our barbecue grill is broken, and so we can't use it. So I'm actually a little jealous with you on that one. Hey, Bryant. Bryant says, hi, Darren and Margie. Probably going to shoot off some fireworks on Saturday. That's awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. And did you already get that swim and barbecue? Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Ooh, we might go swimming.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. We could go swimming. That'd be fun. I was thinking about hitting the theme parks, but I don't know if I want to hit the theme parks then. That'd be kind of crazy, maybe. Annie says, watching fireworks at Waldemere in Erie, Pennsylvania. That sounds like a lot of fun. Fantastic. Yeah, let us know. I want to hear some more ideas for 4th of July. Does everyone watch the fireworks, or does anyone have, I will admit, I think it was last year, right? Last year that I had the problem. Was it a couple years ago? So I've never been diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure. So secondary PTSD is a thing. Margie's actually been formally diagnosed with it. And I've never been diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure I have it because the fireworks 2 years ago bothered me so much that I had to get the family and we had to leave from where we were watching.
It wasn't really a fireworks show, though.
It wasn't like a fireworks show.
In a neighborhood and people shooting it off in the middle of the street close to houses and people and kids. And
it really bothered me.
It was a little bit more intense.
It was really intense. And I had to go because I was a bundle of nerves and I couldn't. And our kids were going everywhere. And I wasn't sure if they were going to be safe. So not only was it bothering me because I didn't know if I was safe, and it just all the loud noises and the sensory stuff going off. And it usually doesn't bother me, but that 2 years ago it really bothered me, and so we had to leave. So I'm hoping I'm good this year. I'm really hoping. We're going to try anyways. We're going to see what happens.
We're at a place in our family too that. So I think there have been years in the past where we really couldn't do fireworks because it was up to, just like
Christina said, our kids can't handle it.
Handle it up too late and too loud. And I'll say, Christina, we are like newly, I think, to the place where we can't, and it's kind of hit or miss. Like, we're not going far from home, so if people start having problems, we can just head home.
Yeah. Although... Yeah, I don't think we'll have issues here, but I think in Orlando it's going to be a little bit harder because of the traffic and just the sheer crowds of everything because it is such a larger area.
Like our area of the city.
Right, I think we'll stay.
We could walk. Or we can,
what made it nice for us when we lived in Knoxville was, so since everything's hilly, we were able to go, we had a large hill at the back of our house, so we were able to go up on top of the hill. And, hey, Smile Happy. So we were able to go up at the top of the hill, and we were able to watch fireworks from up there, and it made it so nice. I actually liked it a lot more, too, because then after we were done, right away, people could go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, or people are having an issue.
We just see so many different fireworks shows. Last year, we did just stay home because we had two...
yeah, we did. Right.
We had two bonus kids, and we were just kind of at a place in my family where you couldn't go out and do a lot because we just couldn't all handle it.
So what do you guys do? So I hear that someone said that they have issues with loud noises. So what do you guys do for fireworks or around 4th of July?
Annie has a great
tip. She says,
put noise-canceling headphones on my kids to help with the noise. We watch fireworks in the back of our van. That way if kids start having meltdowns, they can watch a movie. That's awesome.
Right, for sure. Like, that is really good. So I want to know with the noise-canceling headphones, I have seen some people that have better noise-canceling headphones lately. They're not as, I guess, dorky looking anymore. Like, does anyone have any like suggestions for noise canceling headphones? Do you just get any pair that's as cheap or as I keep slipping into a British accent. Like, I have to keep stopping myself. I'll explain that later. But anyways, Brian, if he's still on here, he'll understand that because he saw me this weekend. So yeah, what do you do for noise canceling headphones? Like, do you just get anything, or like
I know just like regular headphones don't necessarily work. We have one kiddo that we've tried just using like earplugs and stuff when we were going to be in concerts or something loud, and that didn't, like, they always fall out of his ears. Right. So.
Well, and then what do you use then for noise canceling headphones? Like, what do you do, or how do you survive, I guess, all the sensory, all the people? Like, I heard some people, it sounded like some people staying at home, like, and cooking out. That sounds like a really good idea, actually. Like,
we saw a little while back, I think, was it on Amazon, that there were noise canceling headphones, but it was really neat because it had kind of like a headband, and so there wasn't like actual earpieces, like there was nothing that actually went in their ears or anything like that. They looked comfy and yet kind of fun and cool.
Like, it was like a workout headband, right? Like, it was kind of something like that, but they were kind of like fashionable. Like, so it almost looked like, for girls, it looked like you could fashion it up, and they had plainer ones for boys.
So Annie gets the $5 pair from Ace Hardware and let the kids put stickers on. That sounds awesome.
Shut the front door. That sounds awesome. I know we have an Ace Hardware. I'm going to try Annie.
Because we've seen them for like a lot of money, but a hardware store, like when you're doing.
Can we like totally like, we can't like just totally like go off the wall liking. Here, I'm going to give you a wow sticker. That's awesome. I like that idea. Like, no, the stickers are great. Stickers, everyone loves stickers. Those are phenomenal, fantastic. I like that. Well, I want to know more about what you guys are doing for 4th of July because, in all honesty, you might give us ideas of what we're going to do for 4th of July. We're actually, might be along with some of you guys. We're in flux because we have a new kiddo joining the house. He was living with grandma, and he's one of our adopted kiddos, but he's living with grandma for a while. And since we've gotten everyone else settled, he's now going to be living with us. And again, I hope we're going to have our office here settled pretty soon so that we have like this nice, cool, transfiguring adoption background for you guys instead of like our dorky bikes and all our trash. But, you know, welcome to our life. I'm glad you guys could be here. So yeah, if everyone wouldn't mind, since we've got people started here, if you wouldn't mind going ahead and hitting the share button if you're on Facebook, YouTube, whatever you're on, Instagram, if you could share that you're doing this right now so that we can get more people involved in the conversation and just alert more people that we're talking. It's always a more fun conversation when we have, you know, 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 people talking in on the conversation. So if you could take some time just to hit the share button and share to your friends that you're watching this so that they know that they can join us, that would be fantastic. So yeah, I'd love to hear more about what everyone's doing on 4th of July. Do you have something?
Well, I think there were a couple things that came up after last week. We had a couple questions that came in after.
Oh, we did.
When we were not live anymore.
Oh, okay.
So one of the questions was visitation after adoption. And I don't know if you want to pull up some of what the specifics on that were. And this is different for everybody. This is, I will say, because we've moved to different states, it's looked kind of different and evolved over time. It's funny though, living farther away, we actually see one birth mom more often.
We do
now. Like,
that's actually been unusual.
Like the extended family and stuff have come to visit twice in the last year. So that's been really fun and cool. But really, like there's often questions about, do you have to, or kind of what some of that, what the guidelines are there. And
this is like something that
case by case. And we actually, I've written a blog on it, 7 considerations for navigating birth, family, something, relationships after adoption, something like that. So that's available on our site. And so that kind of talks about some of the different concerns or thoughts, kind of pros and cons, and just different ways to deal with that. But it does look different.
And we've actually gotten this question quite a few times. So I think it's one that everyone's really wondering about is what does that look like after? Because I think people like know what to expect when kiddos are in foster care and you know that you're going to have visits and do different things. But I think it's really kind of this gray area and like everyone feels it's kind of like this no man's land, like what happens after.
Yeah, and I know some people are told that, you know, sometimes there's, Christina's been losing us today. No.
Don't lose us. Come back. Come back.
Hopefully it's not us. We're kind of sitting outside, so.
We are sitting outside. I've noticed we've been having a little bit of problems with, like, the internet in our area. It's been having an area. Let me go check. No, it looks okay. We're good. Okay. Sorry. Come back. Don't give up, Christina. We miss you.
Yeah, so sometimes there's like a no contact order. A lot of times it is up to the adoptive parents, kind of how much or how contact is going to happen. I'm trying to remember if there was other specific questions on there.
No, I mean, it was just like, what does it look like? So what like activities do you do? How often? Stuff like that. Like what does that look like at all?
A lot of times it's great to start out like on neutral ground. Like we've done that, you know, meeting somewhere. You know, in one case, we've gotten to the point where we've been comfortable enough that birth families come to our home.
Right, and I think we had to get to a place where we felt comfortable with that, like because that's a huge thing. Your home is a very private and personal and intimate place, and so you have to get to a place, I feel like, where you feel comfortable to let someone into your inner sanctuary rather. And so we just kind of got to a place where we felt, I mean, after talking and getting to know the birth parents, where we felt comfortable with at least one of them coming. Well, she just happened to be around by our home. She just didn't know it. Well, she knew she was in the city for it, but she didn't know how close she was to the home. Let's put it that way. that we felt comfortable having her over. And I think, again, I think we get this question a lot, and I think it all goes back to safety. Like when you're talking about doing visits with birth families after you've adopted, it all goes back to safety. If you don't feel completely safe, don't do it.
Right. And that's why neutral ground is good, and just having other, you know, folks around. But really, a lot of times, it's in the best interest of the kids long term to have some sort of relationship. And that extends to siblings as well. Like I just actually spent Thursday, Friday, Saturday, had the great opportunity to be at the National Foster Parent Association conference here in Florida, and had some great conversations with folks about just kind of that sibling relationship and how important it is to keep that relationship. You know, if you've got children adopted in, you know, children with siblings adopted into other families or with birth family members, that is such an important relationship. I always go back to this meeting I had in DC where they were doing one of the national ad campaigns for foster care adoption, and they were talking about the importance of keeping siblings together, and the fact that the sibling relationship is the longest relationship you ever have, because your parents often pass on a while before you do, just in the normal lifespan, and spouses and such come along later. So your siblings and you've had the shared experience of growing up, and so you kind of know where you're coming from. So that's the birth family relationships, if at all possible, like are really, really important to maintain post-adoption to whatever extent is available. Annie said she shared, thank you so much, Annie. This is her first time seeing us live. She's in the process of becoming a foster home. She has 2 with autism and 1 with anxiety disorder.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
So hoping to learn everything I can before our first placement. Awesome, Annie. That's it's awesome to see foster parents kind of getting in there and learning things beforehand. I feel like we went through the training, but you know, there were things that we found, resources we found later that we wish we would have had in the beginning. And one of the most needed things, I think, as a foster parent is just that ability to want to learn more, you know, just that curiosity and just always educating yourself more and learning more. I'm going
to go ahead and share a book. Actually, Annie, when I was reading what you shared, fantastic. Thanks for becoming a foster parent. You're really brave, and that's fantastic.
And the fact that you
Phil.
have
so
autism, that you've already had some experience with autism and anxiety disorder, that'll help you a lot. There's a lot of times that a lot of behaviors that you'll see in foster kids kind of mimic autism, but you kind of have to go about it. Some of the therapies that work with kids who are autistic, even though some of the symptomology is the same, the techniques vary a little bit, and it's always different for the kid too.
Yeah, and I'm putting on a book review. There's actually a middle school book called Parents. I think it's Parents Wanted. And I was actually kind of surprised. I saw this on different lists on the internet, and sometimes we're not sure. So one of the things we do is we have a book list online. But you guys please go to transfiguringadoption.com and check out our book list. We review books, and we want to make sure that you're getting good quality books that are actually helping you and helping you to bond with your kids. But Parents Wanted is a great middle school book. And not only is a great middle school book to go with your middle school kids or older, but it actually is great for caregivers to go through on their own, because it gives you a really true picture, I feel like, of what it's going to look like to care for a kiddo from the foster care system, especially an older child. I forget how old the boy in the book is, but he had to be in middle school. I don't think he was in high school. I think he was in middle school, and he does just a lot of his thought processes and stuff like that are revealed in the book. And it shows how the foster parents are hit and their emotions are hit really hard with different things they weren't expecting, and they share their thoughts and feelings. And so it's going to give you insight to how you're going to feel as a foster parent at points. So I'm going to put that up there. And Annie, that one would be a great one for you to check out. And I don't know if your kids enjoy being read to, but it would be a great one for you to read with them. Trying to get that up now. There we go. There we go. Just put it up there. So, yeah, definitely check that one out. It's like I said, it's a great book. I was actually really surprised because sometimes when we see books on other people's book lists, we're not sure what's gonna come of it because sometimes they're really great books. Other times people just the adoption or something is in the title, and so people think that it's a great adoption book, and it turns out to be horrible. This one I was actually really surprised with. It was fantastic. I believe it got really high reviews from us. Yeah, and I think when I was done reading it, I thought all foster parents should read it before they become foster parents. You gonna be okay?
Yeah.
All right.
I just have a little bit of a cold.
Oh dear. Well, so yeah. Hey Marquita, good to have you here. Yeah, so go ahead, you guys. Let us know if you have any suggestions or anything like that. Again, for people that are just joining us, this is our time for an hour just for you to give any suggestions, advice, or ask any questions that you might have about foster care or adoption. Margie and I aren't here to create conversation. We're here to facilitate conversation and give you guys a place so that you can learn from each other and talk with each other. So, yeah, just let us know. You sure you're going to be okay?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
I don't know if I know my CPR as well as I used to.
So one question, that was one question we had last week after the discussion was over. The other one that we had was, I'm blanking now.
Oh, no. Yeah, I don't remember it either. How's that for you?
Oh,
activities.
Activities. So someone asked, we're going to be meeting with a couple, was it teenage sisters? Mm-hmm. That they had some limited information about, but they were going to be visiting with them. They didn't say whether it was like to kind of meet them to if it was a potential placement, potential adoption.
I took it as they were in their home. I took it as
they
were
visiting. So that's why I was thinking maybe it was like they were in the process of potentially becoming a placement, whether that's foster or adoptive. So they were asking about activities to do that would not trigger trauma. And just to help them get to know the girls. Yeah.
So, yeah, what kind of activities would you do that would help you get to know your kids but wouldn't trigger trauma? Hey, Marquita, well, glad you joined us. Glad it caught your attention.
Annie says, I will definitely get it.
The book she means, I'm assuming, yeah.
So far, I only got a kid's book called Fitzy Needs a Family to explain foster care to my kids. That's great. I'm trying to think. I know there were some other ones.
Probably The Rabbit is really good.
Well, but she's talking about to the kids her biological kids in her home to explain to them.
Oh, you know what? There is. Let me see if I can actually put it on there. There is a great one. How old are your kids, Annie? Because that's going to help me kind of look through our book reviews a little bit more. But there is actually a great one by Sarah Naish. She does a lot of grades pinpoint their feelings and emotions that are going through foster care or adoption. But she put one out specifically that had to do, here it is, it's called Calum Kindly. And Calum Kindly is living in a single parent home, and he is the birth child. And they decide, it's from the UK, so his mom and him decide that they're going to open their home up to foster kiddos. And they open it up, and there's all sorts of chaos that ensues because Calum has to deal with sharing things and deal with all sorts of trauma issues and behaviors.
CALLUM.
I'll put the link 5, on there. 5, 8, and 10. This would be great for them, actually. Here, I'll put the link up there now so you can see that. That'd be a great book because, again, it's going to show your kids, your birth children, things they might encounter, and it also talks about having to share love, because that's one thing that they're going to have to deal with is you're going to have another kid in your house that they call it like their love bucket is empty, and you might not be able to fill their love bucket. They might have an insatiable love bucket where you're constantly just pouring into this kid and it's never getting full. And because of that, your own kids are going to have to go without for a while. And they're going to have to be ready for that and prepared for that. They might not get snuggles from you. They might not get, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of different things. They might, the foster child is going to need more attention for a while than your kids are going to be allowed. So they might not get tucked in as long at bedtime than they're used to, or stuff like that. It might be just quick kisses and then having to spend a lot of time with the new foster kiddo in the house. So yeah, that book definitely goes through it and just kind of explains things. And it's a good, definitely a good thing to discuss, because I don't think kids, when you ask them if you should open your home up for foster care, I don't think they think about that. I don't think that's something that they think about, that all of a sudden they're going to have to share love and affection. So interesting. But anyways.
And that's kind of like one of the other things that has kind of been on our mind, kind of in my mind, because I had a friend who's got a new foster placement, and we have, like we said earlier, one of our kids moving back in who's not lived with us for a little while, who's a young adult. So, so let's see. So Christina said it's like having a new baby to give time to. Exactly.
It just might be a 16-year-old.
Yeah. Or, you know, and so we were kind of like, a friend and I were talking kind of about the dynamics and how when new kids come into the house, how that changes. It kind of upsets you know, everybody's kind of got their role in a house. And so from little things to who does the dishes, and who takes out the trash, to order of bedtime routines, and you know, kind of if a child comes in and it's kind of out of birth order, you know, like we had 2 younger kids and then 2 older kids moved in, and it kind of, but then there was different IQ, you know, different IQ levels and things like that. So, you know, it kind of just, that the birth order got messed up, and it just kind of threw everybody for a loop, and everybody was like establishing pecking order. So it can be just kind of a crazy time. It can be really fun, but it can also be, you know, just, it takes some time and some working out. And
I compare it to moving to a new house. I mean, we just moved to a new house, and there's a lot that's unsettled. And didn't you just did a blog on that, like comparing things to moving to a new house and being in foster care. But I really compare, like, even just like having a new kid come into your home, like you're just unsettled for a while. And it's like, you know, instead of trying to figure out where are the pillows and blankets, you're trying to figure out, okay, where's the kid that handles this now? Because usually this kid handled the dishes. Who handles it now? Or usually this kid watched this kid while I handled this issue. But now we have kids added to the house, so now who handles it? And like you're just, so it's like, it's emotions and people that you don't know what your go-to is anymore, because your routine's totally been unsettled, and everyone else doesn't know what to do either. So it's what is it that someone said, that we're constantly looking for equilibrium, and whenever you take things out of equilibrium, you're always trying to get back to that homeostasis. So things are going to be unsettled and crazy until you can get back to homeostasis. Ooh, I used a big word. That was fun. All right. So yeah, let us know. Yeah, thanks, you guys. I've been seeing a lot of people sharing on social media. Thank you so much. If you haven't shared yet on social media, I saw that Sean just shared on social media. Please share on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube that you're watching this, so that we can get more people in on the conversation. Right now, the things we're talking about are, 1, if you want something fun, we're talking about what are you doing for 4th of July. 2, we're talking about how activities that you can do with new kiddos coming into your home that won't trigger trauma. You know, another thing that I thought about too is the whole KISS acronym, keep it simple, stupid, is just, it's so true with this, because if you don't want to trigger traumas, you stay inside, you stay at home, you don't invite anyone over, and you order pizza, or you get, you know, something like, you don't,
something easy.
You're not cooking. You're using paper plates. And that's because you're not stressed then. And if you're not stressed, it's not adding to the stress of the children. Anything you can do to minimize stress. So keeping everything very simple. And that means for you as well, because you also raise the barometer in the room with your stress, and it affects the children, and they're going to get anxious. So Yeah, I think activities would be like playing board games, or even, a lot of people, we're in a generation where a lot of us parents don't want to watch movies because my kid's not going to be babysat by the TV, but with as much energy and things as foster care and adoption can take out of you, TV's okay. Like, because you're still doing something together, right? Like,
as long as it's
like you can still engage with each other and you can still talk and have memories with it, is what I mean. Like when you're watching it all together.
yes, you just have to be careful to avoid trauma triggers.
Right, avoid trauma triggers, but in the movie, but it can still be a nice, easy way to bond with each other. Like it doesn't have to be like this big setup game night or anything like that. So definitely. Very cool. So did you have anything else? I do.
Go for it.
You do? Okay, you don't. Okay. So one thing that it looks like we just got in the mail. So I just got in at 5 a.m. this morning. Hey, Laura, glad to have you on Instagram. We just got a book in the mail, it looks like, from Jessica Kingsley Publishing, and big holler out to them. They are phenomenal people. That they have just really cool books. And
their focus is really foster care, adoption, both books for the kids and for the adults, with foster care, adoption, or special needs, trauma, books that can be used in therapy, things like that.
And yeah, so like, and we're not on their payroll or anything like that. They send us their books to review, which we're so far behind on. It's not even funny. But sorry, JKP. But they usually just turn out very quality stuff. And I can't, there are only maybe like a couple that ever got.
So what book is
that? Anyways. So we have Ellie Jelly and the Massive Mum Meltdown by Sarah Naish. And again, Sarah Naish is, we just told you about one of her books called Calum Kindly. And so this is going to be a new one. It looks like it has a little bit different of a look to it. The other ones are paperback, and this one looks like it's hardback. I have not looked at this at all. It literally was sitting on my office desk. When I came in, I got really excited about it and was like, I'm going to bring it to you guys to show you.
One of our kids read it today. I haven't had a chance to really say.
Like, oh, yeah.
to ask.
Yeah, he came in and he's like, can I read that? I'm like,
no,
yeah.
One of the other, Jasmine,
really?
was reading
okay.
it.
That's so funny.
Two of the kids have read it. We haven't read it.
Totally not looked at it yet. So I'll read you. Yeah, I'll read you the back. Okay, the back says, Ellie Jelly wakes up hungry and ready for breakfast, but Mum is busy with her little sister, Grace. Ellie tries to get Mum's attention. She bangs the table. She makes loud singing noises, but it's no good. Finally, she decides to make her own breakfast, picking up the heavy milk carton and, oh no, spilling the milk all over the table and the floor. Mum gets really angry and shouts at Ellie. Ellie feels all wobbly and her chest is banging. Will Ellie Jelly and Mum ever be friends again? Okay. And this, we have Elizabeth O'Shea, parenting specialist and founder of Parent for Success, says that this book can help young children realize that adults may shout, but they can also apologize and help children understand how much they're loved. Okay? And let's see, should I read this one? Is it 5-Star Stone, parenting expert and author? Ellie Jelly and the Massive Mum Meltdown gives an honest insight into the real-life bad days that grown-ups sometimes have. So that's cool.
Yeah. The only thing,
like
I was walking through and I saw Jasmine reading it and I said, so did Mom have a meltdown? And she was intent on reading, and she said, everybody has meltdowns. So
everybody has meltdowns. We have meltdowns a lot. Well, okay, maybe I do. I have rants. I go through rants. So yeah, I think this is really cool because I think this is a great conversation. I haven't read it yet. I haven't reviewed it, but I'm interested because I feel like it's showing, again, what parents, caregivers don't always have perfect days, and that you're going to start a healthy conversation that just because we're mom or dad in your life right now doesn't mean it's going to be rainbows and roses all the time. So
and we will screw up.
We will screw up.
We can say we're sorry.
We can. So that sounds really cool. What do you guys think about this book? Is anyone interested in it? Are you not interested in it? Tell us what you think about it. I'd love to hear other people's thoughts about it. It looks, I just think that.
Hopefully we'll get a review up on the website soon.
I have 2 other children's books that I have to do. I have one, I have a mermaid book. I have one about a little boy named Ben. So I have at least those. At least those. So, and I know I have more than that. So,
and I know I
I'm
said
really excited
a while
about
back that I was going to do the A to Z parenting. Yeah.
Yeah, you still have that one.
I need to do that. I haven't been reading at all. I've just been so busy. I've been building furniture for our new house and actually enjoying that, but and getting moved in. It's crazy. Like, you forget just how long it takes to settle everything in and get things where they go, and finding places. But I will say, you know what's fun? When I was some of my foster adoptive mom friends were doing a little going away thing for me, one of my friends got me just a really simple book that's Moments of Joy, Find Your Happy. And it's just kind of a journal, but it has, like, you on the day, and it's not labeled, so you can, whatever. But it just has 1, 2, 3. And so the thing is, just kind of at the end of the day, to find 3 moments that you want to remember, or that, really made you happy or proud or excited. And I've been doing that because a lot of times too, in this foster and adoptive care journey, there are days where that can really, really, it can be hard to find those 3 moments. There's other days where it's so amazing and you can, think of so many things. But I've been finding it helpful for me just to kind of, like, I love the tagline on the book, says find your happy. It's been great to just kind of, think through that each day.
It's really good.
So it has nothing to do with foster care or adoption, but it's just a kind of a fun thing. And I imagine later on it'll be fun to look back and just see things that, remember things, especially, if your child has a big, I can't think of the word, I'm like totally blanking, kind of feat, or like, does something,
does something really cool and you want to remember it.
Yeah, like, just even, like,
sometimes
I was at the National Foster Parent Conference Association, or National Foster Parent, my mouth is going too fast for my head, National Foster Parent Association Conference the other day, and there was an adoptive father, and someone said something about the foster child, and said, "Oh, we're mobile," and he said, "Oh, we're newly mobile," and it's just, it was clearly a situation where, for that child, that was a huge feat, was, to being, that development. So we have those developmental milestones, and it looks different a lot of times for our kids. And sometimes it's something really simple that maybe other parents wouldn't be, like, super excited about because it just wasn't a big deal. But for our kids, it can be. So it's kind of fun, to look back and see those moments.
Absolutely. So, yeah, let us know if you guys have found any cool movies or books this week that you feel like other people should know about, because we're always interested, obviously, with that being a big focus of ours, we're always interested to know if you can do that. So this isn't in the chat, but it is a question that I've been getting a lot lately, actually, is we're getting a question through our inbox about how to get one of our first foster parent survival kits, I think it is. And we do.
We've actually gotten a few.
We've gotten a few emails about that. Yeah.
About that.
So here's how that works. So Transfiguring Adoption, we accept donations. We work hard to get donations for different supplies and stuff like that for our first foster parent survival kits.
We currently don't have any.
We don't have any. Before we moved, we actually gave our donations to agencies we work with. We usually don't give to individuals, only because there's usually privacy issues and different things like that. We found the best way is just to work with various agencies and work with them so that they can they know you guys and better than we do, and so they can give them out to people. So yeah, we usually work with agencies. One thing that we're slowly moving over to, though, is we've heard a lot of people say the issue is when we usually give these to parents that have been newly licensed. And the problem is that parents that have been newly licensed aren't yet as acquainted with trauma issues that they're going to be coming up against as some of you that are watching might be. And so the issue we're having is people don't quite value the kits at the time that they get them. However, a lot of you that are maybe more seasoned foster parents, let us know that you think that they're fantastic because you've seen how the tools and different things work.
But then we do have folks that are getting licensed who are wanting them.
Absolutely.
So
otherwise we wouldn't be getting messages like right now.
We've got to figure out. We're kind of in that figuring out what's the best way. And
we'll tell them about the calm down kits because I think that's where we're moving.
Yeah. So we've talked about revamping them a little bit and doing more of a calm down kit, and it would be kind of resources and tools for the whole family and kind of like de-stressing and sensory activities to help the kids to calm down as they're in a new situation with strangers. And that's often frustrating and scary. And so sometimes, sensory input can be really valuable in helping them regulate emotions or being able to have tough conversations or and just sit down with new caregivers.
And the problem is that since we're relying on donations, we just have to do little bits at a time. And then we give them to our volunteers, or our volunteers assemble them and they get them out to agencies. The one thing that we Transfiguring Adoption really needs is we really need some corporate sponsors to come along behind us. So if you're watching and you know a business or you are an entrepreneur, and you would like to come behind Transfiguring Adoption, we are a 501c3, so we're tax write-off for you. And not only that, but we're not just asking for handouts. We're asking to partner with your business so that you're not just an insurance salesman or a realtor or a coffee barista. You are now a coffee shop owner that helps your local foster and adoptive family, and we can help you with that. So that people want to go to your store, they want to do business with you because you are helping foster and adoptive families, and that's huge.
Yeah. So you do have packages of kind of like marketing packages.
And the thing is for you guys to know is that the more that we can get corporate sponsors behind us, the more that we are able to get donations out.
As well, and then looking for grants, and as we're looking for corporate sponsors, one of the things we shared last week, if you are using any of our resources, or you have in the past, or you have an agency that's using our resources, we're really trying to get folks to fill out a quick survey on our website that just kind of says, it's down at the bottom on the right, how are we doing, give us feedback. He's going to put the link in Facebook in the chat. So
yeah, so literally like 5 minutes of your time, if you could fill out this survey, it actually helps us to be able to gauge, like, did this time with us right now help us? And we can go up to Mr. Business Owner and say, Mrs. Business Owner, we have this many people that say that this time is phenomenal and invaluable and is an impact on their lives. Would you like to be a part of that? So yeah, so that's a little bit on our kits. We don't have any in stock right now. We would love to be doing more, and we'd love for you guys, we'd love for you to get behind us and help us.
Get some feedbacks that we can start sharing with others. Definitely, yeah. If we do get anything together, we will definitely be sending stuff out to folks. And that could be something that we do is, if you're actually requesting one, that we can get in touch with your agency and get that to you as we have stuff available.
Very fun, you guys. You guys are awesome. Everyone is so great. Okay, put that link up there right now. Fantastic. There it goes. Yeah, so if you wouldn't mind filling out that survey, that'd be fantastic. I also wanted to say that our Best Foster Parent in the U.S. award just ended.
Yeah.
We announced the winner yesterday. I completely forgot about that, actually. And we have to give a shout out to Yvette Clark. I have not been able to get a hold of her agency to talk with her agency about her winning, but congratulations, Yvette Clark from Nevada. She has been named the best foster parent in the U.S. this year. So fantastic and bravo. We had some great folks. We had Emily Ruffner from Ohio, and we had Amy Easterly from Tennessee. We're also named as finalists. So everyone had fantastic stories. They just had some great stories that if you don't know them, you might want to see if you can somehow become their friends or something like that, because I think we'd all do better if we knew them. Yeah, they're just some fantastic ladies that they're just doing some great things, and they're phenomenal. And it's just good to hear about other caregivers that are doing great things and not just the bad things that are happening to a few people on the media. So yeah, fantastic. Congratulations, Yvette Clark, for winning that. We will be doing, that's an annual award. So next year, around the same time, we will be having our 3rd annual Best Foster Parent in the U.S. award. Yeah. We're going to be working hard now to contact Yvette.
We take in May, right?
Right.
We accept nominations, and then June is kind of the voting time.
Yeah. So absolutely.
We had other nominees, and everyone will get a certificate at the very least, and then the finalists get some prize packages. And then last year, the agency that was over the parents who won did a great job of contacting local media and adding to our prize package, and just did a great job doing a little ceremony for them. So we will keep everybody updated as to what happens with this year's finalists.
Fantastic. Did you have anything else?
I don't think so.
You didn't? I'd love to hear again, since we've had more people join with us, what's everyone doing for the 4th of July weekend? And do you have any tips for how to help kids go through all the sensory issues and stuff like that? You know what's funny is I think people will talk about what to do with their dogs more than they will how to help their kids get through it.
And you hear about that.
You hear about it a lot, just like on the media and the news and stuff like that. Like, hey, man, this is how you help your... This is how we help your dogs.
You hear about veterans too, like.
Oh, I don't hear about veterans, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
I've seen like they have little like yard signs and stuff.
Oh, really?
That you can put out. What do they say? I forget, but basically that there's a active combat veteran.
Oh wow.
That maybe is impacted by PTSD, and fireworks are difficult. So just keeping that in mind. Or
well, then that opens up a curious question. If we, as a foster parent, put that in front of our, sign in front of our yard, would that have the same impact, and would it be followed as much as with a veteran? I'm curious what you guys think about that can of worms.
I don't think you could really do that as a foster parent, because it's kind of confidentiality and.
But you could say that there's someone in your house that is dealing with PTSD. Like you wouldn't have to say, you could even say, if you had multiple kids in the house, you could say, I have a child that deals with PTSD. You don't have to say a foster child.
Right.
You could say, I have a child. But I wonder, but I'm curious what everyone else thinks. I'm opening up a can of worms because I think that could be a loaded question. I don't know. Since we have veterans in with that one, because I definitely, obviously, have high respect for veterans. So, but I'm just curious if you think people would follow that as much as, if you put a sign out about for your foster kid, if that would be followed as much. Hey, Emily, glad that you joined us here. So yeah, so my question again, since we have people join in, is would they have, Margie just said they have signs for veterans saying, hey, there's a veteran here that's dealing with PTSD, please watch the fireworks. So just to make their life easier, and to respect them. That's awesome. If we have children that have PTSD in our home, if we had signs and put those in our front yard, do you think the public would watch those signs and be as respectful of those signs as they would be with the veteran sign? I'm just curious. I don't think I would do anything with it. I'm not ready to go off and march anywhere, but I'm just curious what people think. Wahaha. I think it's a can of worms, because I think, especially if I really wanted to open up a can of worms, I would ask about, because I think people do have signs and stuff like that. Like I have a dog. I think they have doggy signs for about fireworks and stuff like that. Do different things. And that one, I definitely don't think people would respect the foster child one as much as they would a dog one. And that's interesting to me. That's just my thought. Hey, Laura, glad you could join. Yeah, I don't think they would. Do you?
I've seen more interest in animals than kids often, and it makes me really sad.
That's true. And we love animals. So fantastic. I would love to hear, though, again, to reiterate, love to hear your thought on that, the sign for PTSD for kids. I would also love to hear what you're doing for this 4th of July, and see if you can give any of us other families some ideas on how to help kiddos.
Getting ready to wrap up. We got about 9 minutes left. So any other questions or topics you want to talk about now, or
That's really what I'm
suggestions for
doing.
like next week?
I'm really like stalling because there's a lag time, you know, like there's like this like little bit of a lag for like people to like actually like, and then they have to type in and they have to like, they're probably their thumb, and then they have to like do the back hit. Like, so they're trying to do something right now. I know they are, but if not, I know that other people, we always get lots of inboxes and we get comments after we stop. So I look for.
We always look at those.
We do always look at those.
We do try and go back and address them either live or in writing.
Yeah, you know what? And do me a favor. And as we're looking back at the comments, would you please put, if you have a question for us, would you put if you want us to address it in the comments, or if you want us to hold on and ask that for the next Monday Caregiver check-in so that other people have a chance to talk about it. Because I was confused this last week. We had some great questions, and I was like, ooh, that'd be great for the check-in, but I don't know if they want to talk about that during the check-in.
Or if they want it addressed
privately.
Or just in the comments.
Right. Yeah, probably not privately if they put it in the comments there. It's already public. So, fantastic, you guys. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. We really appreciate everyone for joining in. Be sure to, if you haven't shared this, please be sure to share it on your Facebook. And join us next week. It's going to be Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It always is Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're always on Facebook. We're always on YouTube. And again, come with your questions, come with your advice, come with your suggestions. And just because you think that
sometimes it's just victories. We've had folks come on and just, you know, share exciting news that.
And Jen's on here, Jen Ellers. I'm determined to have Jen on here as like a co-talking person here because she's a professional in the industry, and she's also helping us out with our ELF squad. So,
and for those that have kind of chimed in later or haven't heard us talk about this before, our ELF squad is kind of our volunteer mobilization, and there are local groups that are popping up around the country, and they're kind of the driving force behind a lot of just looking for funding, or as we do drives, like a nightlight drive or a fidget drive or disposable dinnerware, so that new caregivers can focus on the kids for a couple nights instead of doing dishes. Our ELF squads are the driving force behind that.
They are. So fantastic. Would love to have Jen on there when she can have the time to get on here. Please give us bring your comments, questions, suggestions next time, please.
Victories, excitement, encouragement.
And please share this, because the more people that we have on here talking, the more fun it is. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else. I hope everyone has a great 4th of July weekend. We hope to see you guys here next week. And again, I'm Darren Fink.
Margie Fink.
And we hope we are helping you to nurture and grow your foster or adoptive families. All right.
See you later, Facebook.
Bye, YouTube. You've been great.